Good morning, good afternoon, and I am sure we are not on the clock of a good evening today. We are running early, but we are on the clock. A very good afternoon from my side to our incredible global audience joining us from every corner of the world. Welcome to this monumental collaboration between Wiki NRI and the Wiki Southern Australia Council. As the Joint Secretary of our Global Chamber, it's my absolute honor to host today's gathering. We are incredibly proud to acknowledge our partnering organizations whose dedication has made this virtual room a reality today. Both the Wiki NRI Council and the Wiki Southern Australia Council stands as powerful pillars for women's growth, leadership, and global sisterhood. Today, we are turning our collective focus towards the vital, deeply personal, yet universally shared journey. Our theme for this afternoon is women's hormonal health, menopause and perimenopause. For too long, these transitions have been met with silence or misunderstanding. Today, we break the silence. We are here to exchange knowledge, offer support, and foster resilience, ensuring every woman feels empowered, informed, and completely in control of her health and well being as she navigates her midlife. Let us begin this inspiring journey together. Let me start by introducing Dr. Mehta, President Wiki NRI Council. She is the founder of Shrishti Bharat NGO, co-founder Hello Womenia, a digital media platform for global women. Currently acting as an advisor member at Sri Somnath Trust and World Hindu Economic Forum. National President of NRI Council at Women's Indian Chamber. She is also a president of MSME and Startups Forum Bharat Gujarat chapter. Anarji, we really wanted you to be a part of us today, but as we understand, due to an emergency, you could not add in today. But we all really miss you and looking forward to seeing you again on our next webinar. Let's keep moving ahead. To officially open our visionary segment, it's my distinct privilege to welcome a powerhouse of global leadership. She is a tireless champion of gender equality, a visionary change maker and the dynamic Vice President of Wiki NRI Council. Please join me in welcoming the phenomenal as she speaks to us on women empowerment through global sisterhood. I would like to invite Achla Bhupendaji, Vice President Wiki NRI Council, Mission Director of Global Shakti Forum, and the Chairperson of Sustainable Future Foundation to officially open the session. Achlaji, the stage is all yours.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much, Ji, for introducing me with so much love, and thank you to our global audience for joining us today. It's a true honor to speak today and connect with our wonderful partners at Wiki Southern Australia and Wiki NRI Council. When we talk about our mission, strengthening women's voice worldwide, we are talking about giving women the courage to speak. But today, we must address one of the greatest barrier to that voice, the silence we carry ourselves out of habit and out of some social expectation. We all come from sacred land of Bharat. And in our rich Bharatiya Sanskriti, we do not just respect the feminine, we worship it. We pray to Ma Durga to give us strength, Ma Lakshmi for abundance, and Ma Saraswati for wisdom. We know that Shakti is the source of all cosmic energy. We honor the feminine in our tradition, but we have built a wall of silence around the living, breathing women in our home and workplaces the moment they cross their 40s and enter the natural seasons of midlife. Many places we celebrate the young girl transition into womanhood. But when it comes to perimenopause and menopause, a cold, uncomfortable silence take over. The exhaustion, the sleepless night, and the emotional shift become whispered secrets. Women are expected to endure this transition in absolute lonely secrecy, smiling through the discomfort, masking the changes, and never letting the world see a glitch. That's what we are doing today. As a woman, as a leader, and as a mother, I believe that if we want to strengthen women's voices worldwide, we must first give them permission to speak about their own bodies. We must completely reject the expectation to suffer in silence just to make the room comfortable. We must dismantle the false narrative that a woman entering this phase of life is somehow fading away or losing a value. In reality, our ancient philosophy never viewed this phase as a disease or a sign of aging. It was seen as a sacred elevation of inner power. Traditionally, wisdom teaches that this phase marks a tradition into transition into the golden age of supreme wisdom. It is a precise moment of a woman is liberated from a duty of early adulthood, so she can step into her ultimate role as a mentor, leader, and a guide for society. That's what we have to think. Our traditional medicine reminds us that our inner energy does not vanish during menopause. It simply turns inwards, heightening our intuition, our intellect, and our mental power. Historically, mature women become the respected matriarchy whose counsel guided entire communities. They were rewarded because they had entered the most powerful sessions of their life. So let us address the truth. The wall of silence we see today goes completely against our roots. We cannot praise the wisdom of mature women while forcing her to hide the physical reality of the transition that brought her there. We cannot celebrate female strength in our words but expect the women in our office to silently suffer without support. Menopause happens precisely when women are reaching the absolute peak of their intellect, their careers, their global influence. And when we look around, it is women in their 40s and 50s who are leading boardrooms, shaping policies, anchoring society. They are doing wonderful roles at minister level and at every level. They are not fading anymore. They are stepping into their highest form of wisdom. When we silence a woman's hormonal health, we sabotage her leadership. This fight is deeply personal to me as mother raising both son and daughter. I personally refuse to pass down a legacy of shame. I want my daughter to grow up in a world where her body is respected, and I want my son to grow in a leader who understands that supporting women's health is a foundational duty of any civilized society. Real strength cannot thrive in a shadow of shame. Today, we have incredible line of medical experts here, neuroscience consultant, coaches who are giving us to break down the silence, the mindset, and the wellness reality of this journey. But before they speak, let us use this wiki platform to clear the air. Let us promise to tear down the wall. Let us normalize these kinds of conversation in our office and home. To every sister who joined today, you are not losing the edge. You are stepping into the most powerful season. Let us break the silence, shatter the wall, and build a world where women's voice is strengthened and her health is honored at every single stage of life. Thank you so much, and I'm really looking forward to listen all the speakers today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Achla ji, for sharing your profound insights. Amplifying and strengthening the voice of women worldwide is exactly how we dismantle barriers, and your words serve as an urgent, beautiful call to action for all of us. So let's keep moving ahead with this particular spark which Achla ji has taken us through. It's my honor, it's my pleasure to welcome a leader representing our local forces here in Australia. She is dedicated to creating an impactful space for regional advocacy and health education. Please join me in welcoming the Vice President of Wiki Southern Australia, Ritika Mohta, who will speak on Southern Australia's commitment to women's health advocacy. Ritika, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Shireen, for the lovely introduction of mine. Greetings and very warm welcome to everyone joining us today. I, Ritika, Vice President of Wiki Southern Australia, and it is a truly honor to be part of this meaningful gathering. We welcome you to today's seminar dedicated to advancing education, awareness, and equity in women's healthcare. Imagine a health condition that affects half the global population, yet remains so heavily stigmatized that it costs workers billions of dollars in lost retirement, savings, and forces. 1 in 10 women to leave the workforce entirely at the absolute peak of their careers. This isn't it a hypothetical crisis. It is the reality of unmanaged perimenopause and menopause. Fortunately, South Australia, backed by landmark federal initiatives, is choosing to break the silence. The state has formally elevated menopausal health to a core public health priority. For generations, these natural transitions have been treated as private struggles. South Australia is changing that mindset by recognizing that women's hormonal health is not just a personal issue, it is a vital economic and public health imperative. For generations, these natural transitions have been treated as silent private struggles. The stigma has had real consequences. Millions of women have navigated severe symptoms without adequate support, frequently leading to premature workforce departure. In fact, national data shows that the lack of support costs women billions in lost earnings and retirement savings. So, what is the solution to that? The solution are the only the three key pillars. That is, first is the awareness, second is the clinical care, and third is the workforce support. Menopause is an economic issue through health networks like South Australia Health. We are promoting workplace well-being policies and flexible work frameworks to ensure women to not to have to choose between their health and their careers. So we are looking forward to all the speakers to have their mindset what they can. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ritika, for highlighting the vital advocacy taking place right here in South Australia. It is the local dedication like yours that builds the foundation for our global health awareness moments. So let's keep going ahead and get the spark still going on. Let's see, I guess we've got Dr. Raki back in. So let's start with Dr. Raki to start our session with. So, Dr. Rakhi is an Indian gynecologist, a social activist, a women's rights advocate who has dedicated over 22 years to advancing women's health, dignity, and empowerment at the grassroots level. Her work reflects one core belief: empowering a woman empowers generation. She is the founder of Sakhi Welfare Foundation, leading initiatives transformation of women. She is also a TEDx speaker and public influencer, bridging medicine, policy, and social change through public disclosure. Please welcome Dr. Rakhi on stage. Dr. Rakhi, the stage is all yours. Dr.
Please.
Rakhi, please unmute. Yeah.
Yeah. Namaste, everyone. Today, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So today we'll be talking about something very relevant but hardly taken care of. The reason being, we are all living our lives, comparing it to our parents, like our mothers used to live. But times have changed, and awareness about menopause has changed thoroughly. In fact, even in when my mother was at my age, say around 50 or 45, 50, it used to be said, that you have become old and it's okay to, behave in a certain way, to react in a certain way, and walk in a certain way, be healthy in a certain way. It's okay to, gain weight. And now looking and presenting good and presenting well, your physical activity and all that can dampen down. Whereas I have experienced, I've been studying a lot about menopause lately, and I have experienced that it's totally the opposite of what they were told. So I want all my fellow women to know about it. I think it is also a kind of, since I run a foundation, I think it's also a kind of women empowerment, and giving the correct knowledge to you is my duty. And that's how I'm going to take it today. So, hello everyone. This is Dr. Rakhi Anand Agarwal. I'm a gynecologist in India, practicing for past 23 years. And today we'll be talking about menopause. I've shared the PPT to somebody, but I think I'll speak about it because I'm talking from the other phone and PPT is in the other phone. So first thing is, today we'll understand what is perimenopause, what is menopause. We'll recognize the symptoms and we'll promote healthy aging and discuss treatment option. So first thing is why menopause matters. First thing is women spend nearly one third of their life in menopause. So it's important that they focus on the quality of their life and prevention of any ailments that can occur due to menopause. So females lifetime, you can say it's puberty, reproductive age, perimenopause, menopause, and then postmenopause. So I will talk about perimenopause. Perimenopause can sometimes last from 4 to 8 years. You can have irregular cycles. You're already, on the gate of menopause, you can say. So what will happen is there'll be irregular cycles. There'll be hormonal fluctuations which can cause hot flashes or brain fog or symptoms like this. But in this time, pregnancy is still possible because you are having cycles. They may be irregular, but pregnancy is still possible in these circumstances through natural conception. So, secondly, what happens is hormonal changes. Hormonal changes, the estrogen hormone, which is, I think, the most important hormone in a female's body, that decreases. That starts decreasing. Now we start realizing what all the estrogen hormone was controlling. So, progesterone also decreases. Then increase in FSH and LH. FSH is the follicular stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. So, if you want to confirm that you are in the menopause phase, you have to get your FSH checked. If FSH hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, is high, then that can guarantee that you have already entered menopause. So, one thing more I would like to tell you that menopause, you call it menopause when you've had full 1 year without any periods. It's perimenopause when you have periods after 3 months, after 4 months. That is a perimenopausal area. That is not the menopause. Menopause, we call it only when you've had one full year without any cycles, without any periods. So what happens is estrogen hormone, like I said, was very important. And what does it do? So 12 months of amenorrhea due to ovarian follicle depletion means all the follicles in your ovary which were causing ovulation have been depleted. They are finished. So then you start with menopause. The average age is around 46 to 48 years. For some people, it may be up to 50 years, but latest is 55. So I presume if you are still having your cycles, irregular cycles after the age of 55, you need to get yourself checked. So what happens in menopause? Due to the hormone estrogen decreasing, it affects your brain, it affects your bones, it affects your heart, it affects your skin, and it affects your urogenital tract. As for the brain, what happens in the brain, you'll realize that estrogen was basically lubricating some of your brain. So you will have brain fog very often. You won't remember, where you kept those things. You'll feel confused, and that is a very dreadful feeling for me, for being a doctor. If I get into confusion, you can imagine what will happen to my parents. So how important it is for me to take care of my menopausal health. So second is bones. We have, we are accustomed to seeing our mothers putting a hand on their knees and walking, or maybe, some people walking with a stick at the age of 60 or 70, or getting their knees changed. But why go to that situation? So it affects your bones. Your bones start becoming hollow. Estrogen promotes the bone building cells inside your bones. So when estrogen decreases, your bones start getting hollower. Then your heart, estrogen has a protective effect on your heart health also. Similarly, skin, the skin glows, keeps going, your skin becomes dull, patchy. All this keeps happening because of the estrogen hormone. Then your urogenital tract. For some people, it may be very distressing symptom, urine leakage, or they are not able to control their urine for a longer period of time. This becomes a very distressing symptom when you're traveling and you start cutting down on your, the travels, and your life starts becoming like a cocoon, which we don't realize. We start our life, adjusting around menopause, which is totally not done. That's what I'm going to tell you. So the common symptoms are hot flashes. You'll suddenly start feeling very hot. Then if you go inside the AC, you'll suddenly start feeling cold. So the thermostat of your body is definitely conked off. So hot flashes, night sweats. In the night, you will have a disturbed sleep with too many sweats. Even if the AC is on, you suddenly start feeling very hot, and you feel that, there's something wrong with the AC, but there's something wrong with you. Mood swings. You'll suddenly start feeling very low, and sometimes your mood is very elated. So that is due to the fluctuation of hormones in your body, not because something that is going around. Your husband is the same, your children are the same, but the fluctuation of the hormones is causing these mood swings. Please beware of that. And brain fog, like I told you, sleep disturbance because of night sweats or other things, low libido. That is also a concern when your other partner is in the prime of their lives, and low libido might be a concern for some women at this point of time. So, effects on health, bone loss, heart risk disease, like I said, weight gain. The first problem that occurred for me was weight gain. I started dieting. I started taking these supplements, but my weight was continuously gaining. I was exercising, not knowing what exercise to do, but I was doing treadmill and I was taking a certain diet. I was eating very less. That led to nutrient deficiencies in my body, but that didn't lead to the weight loss that I wanted. So weight gain here becomes very troublesome to lose weight at the time of menopause. Urinary symptoms, like I said, it becomes very difficult to travel. If you have such urinary symptoms, you'll have frequent UTIs, also urinary tract infection, because of the dryness around the vagina. And vaginal dryness itself is a very distressing symptom. And hair and skin changes. Your hair becomes very thin. You're not able to maintain a longer length of hair if some people have it already. And your skin becomes very dull and patchy. So, how do you diagnose? Like I told you earlier, that selective FSH testing, follicular stimulating hormone, get it tested. If it's high, then you have entered menopause. And especially if you've not had your periods for more than a year, again, that is menopause. So you have to exclude other things, other hormones also during this time, because you may get confused in thyroid and prolactin. They have not mentioned prolactin here. You have to rule out pregnancy if you're not having your periods, maybe any age you might be. And if you're sexually active, you rule out pregnancy, rule out thyroid disease, rule out prolactin also. Uh, so now we know that we have entered menopause. Now what to do? I kept on searching for this answer for past 1 year. I've been in perimenopause, and I'm searching for this answer, that what life should change, how life should change after menopause. The first and the good thing that I did was I started exercising, and not just any exercise. I learned that strength training, building your muscle, will be the best thing to do. There are two stairs in my garden, and when I used to just climb those stairs, unknowingly my hand used to go onto my right knee. I used to touch it and easily climb up those stairs. But today I can run, and swiftly take those stairs, because I started doing strength training, especially for your limbs, for your arms and your legs. So, strength training is very, 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 very important. If you've not started doing strength training as yet, start doing it now. Start lifting light weights. A little bit of workout is very important. You can also do it alternate days. And it doesn't matter if you do it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I started with 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and slowly it's now half an hour every alternate day, whatever time I get. I definitely do strength training. I have a trainer now. But earlier also, I just formulated a thing in which my whole body, all the muscles of my body are exercised. Even though I may not lose weight, remember, it is not to lose weight, it is to gain strength in your muscle. I initially realized that I'm gaining weight, but that was basically my muscle gain that I was getting. My clothes were fitting better, but on the weighing scale, I was weighing a little higher. So don't get worried. It'll, take shape eventually. So protein-rich diet in our vegetarian society, like I'm a vegetarian, it's very difficult to take a protein-rich diet. But people living in Australia, I'm sure you can get a lot of protein-rich diets. But don't take proteins if you are not exercising. Otherwise, you'll just end up gaining more weight. So, protein rich diet is important. Have lesser meals, but have protein rich meals. Calcium and vitamin D. That is very important to get it checked. Check your calcium, check your vitamin D. Yoga helps a lot. For some of you who might need a link for online yoga, my brother, he is a multiple sclerosis patient, and he is a yoga guru now, and he is helping a lot of people worldwide with his yoga skills. So maybe later, if you want to have that link, of online yoga, and for people from abroad, it's very very minimal charges. So that is about the advertising part. I just came across yoga, so it just came out of my mouth. So you can take the number from me. So second is next is stress management. It's very important. If you're having mood swings, you're having brain fog, and sleep hygiene is the last. Wear light clothing. The temperature of your room should be good, and other things that you know. And also, I've recently tried magnesium with D3 combination. Magnesium bisglycinate does help in your sleep. It relaxes you. So if you're deficient in magnesium, I do take supplements of magnesium also in the night if I'm finding it difficult to have a deep sleep. Because when I have a deep sleep, a lot of my things, a lot of my activities on the next day change a lot. So it's advisable to have a deep sleep as much as you can for 7 to 8 hours. Adequate protein, fruits and vegetables, healthy fats, limit sugars. For a long time now, I'm not taking sugars in my teas, or I do take coffee, but one coffee a day won't harm you. And alcohol also in very moderate quantities. I did decrease it. Earlier I used to uh, drink much more, but I did decrease a lot, and it's almost like nil. I've stopped alcohol. If you can stop your drinking habit, that's even better. It will help you in the long run. So exercise, like I said,
Rakhi
sorry,
ji, sorry to
I,
interrupt you, but we've got a bit of a network issue. We cannot hear you properly.
oh my God, oh, even now,
Uh,
even now you
the
can't
voice,
hear me.
yes, the voice keeps breaking.
Oh, I think the disturbance maybe is from your side. Let me check my Wi-Fi. I'm so sorry. Has it been like that from the beginning?
No, no, just now.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but you can check on my. I've shared the PPT. You can share that PPT. I'm almost about to end my talk, and I've shared PPT with someone there. They can obviously have a look at that. So about the heart health, again the bone health. Okay, so this was the. Can you hear me now?
Rakhi, I think it's more, there is some issue with the speaker or your head using headphones, something kind of like not exactly network, I assume. Because
Just a moment. I'll just bring my headphones.
well, it's a truly very informative talk by Dr. Rakhi. Yeah, there are many things which I don't know it before, but now I think I'm starting catching up because we all are in the the stage of 40s and 43 and 44, and we all have started changing some of the things which we have started changing in the body. We have assumed. So we're just waiting for Rakhi ji so that she can just cover up the summary what she have spoken.
Yeah, she's back.
Yeah, because only her voice was cracking.
Yeah,
I think now we have a network issue as well.
yeah,
Let's just give a minute, otherwise, yeah,
yeah, she's trying to fix.
yeah. Dr. Raki, can you hear us?
I guess she's
Ji,
got a
maybe,
network issue
yeah,
and she's
maybe you
coming back.
can take it. Yeah, please take ahead. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get back to Dr. Rakhi. Looks like we have a technical issue, but we'll come back to her. Let's keep moving forward with the second speaker on stage. Let me call upon Dr. Shanti. Dr. Shanti is a healthcare, HR, and well being consultant based in Chennai, India. and with over 2 decades of experience. She is the founder and CEO of NISA Academy and Consultancy and an academic director at Bridge U Academy and holds an MBA and PhD in management, specializing in work life balance and empathetic workplace design. So, please, without any further delay, let's call upon Dr. Shanti on stage.
Thank you so much, and Vanakkam. My gratitude to Organizing Council for the great opportunity to be part of this event and to specially speak on the topic of my research conducted almost 2 decades ago on work life harmony. And why there was a shift from work life balance to work life harmony is what I'll start with. So, I'd like to start with a real incident. A few years ago, I sat across a table from a woman I was mentoring. This lady, she was sharp, accomplished, and a senior leader in her organization. And mid sentence, in the middle of explaining a strategy to her own team, she froze. The word she wanted simply wasn't there. She laughed it off in the room. But later, she said to me quietly, Shanti, what is happening to me? I don't recognize myself anymore. So, this was the sentence she said. She wasn't losing her age, actually. She was menopausal. And nobody, not her manager, not her HR, and not even she herself, had the language for what was happening. So this was the situation. That moment had stayed with me because my research was focusing on work life balance. But the woman who taught me the word balance does not capture what actually needed at this stage of life. I preferred a different word called harmony. That is, not two equal forces pulling against each other, but different parts of life learning to play the same song, even when one instrument suddenly goes off the key. So that is how I thought, okay, it should be not a work life balance, it needs to be work life harmony. The second part, which I just want to take it further over here, is a workplace blind spot. Very important one. Here is what I've seen across HR consulting, academic leadership, and gender sensitization work in institution after institution. Most workplaces has a policy for maternity. Almost none have a conversation for menopause. That's the silence. And yet, think about who is in the room during this transition. Women in their 40s and 50s who are in the peak of their career, leading teams, sitting on panel just like this one, mentoring the next generation. This is precisely when perimenopause arrives. How? A brain fog walks into a board meeting, exhaustion after a night broken by hot flashes, a short temper that gets unfairly spilled away as she's just having an attitude problem. Just make a note of it. An attitude problem rather than her hormones are in play. So this is where we need to concentrate on. So women do only things they have been trained to do. What they do, they just hide it or they just push through. They apologize for needing a moment instead of being given a moment. That hiding is exhausting in a way that has nothing to do with the symptoms themselves. It is the mental load of performing normalcy. And I just want to say over here plainly when a workplace stays silent on this, it isn't neutral. Silent itself is a decision and it makes this transition harder than it needs to be. So the blind spot needs to have an importance where we need to work it out over here. Now, the third part, which I want to take it over here, I'm just talking about the harmony. But in practice, how do we practice harmony? How we need to take it up? So let me answer with a small stories, 3 stories, because each one taught me one principle I now carry wherever I go into an organization or at my home. The first story to start with, the calendar that listened. Here the story is like this. I once worked with a senior professor who restructured her own work week, not by working less, but by working differently. How? Her most demanding lectures and meetings, she moved it to her best hours. Her admin work moved to the hours she usually struggled. Nothing about her job changed, only it shaped it. The principle over here is harmony isn't fewer working hours, but it's a better fitted task. We need to decide on it. So, flexibility is a structure, not just a flexibility in time. Followed by the second story, the meeting where someone said it loud. In one of the organization I consulted for, a senior leader said in a leadership hurdle, he said, having a rough perimenopausal week, I need to step out if I get a hot flash. Nobody flinched. And in the weeks that followed, two women on that team started speaking just openly. Now, the principle here is psychological safety does not trickle down from policy documents. It is built the moment one senior voice named something everyone was hiding. So, here, just saying it loud is what is very much needed, and we need to start practicing. The third principle or the third story, the boundary without apology. This is what I like the most. The story which is close to me, and it is my own. There was a season when I had to protect my sleep and my mornings like they were non negotiable meetings. Because what happens is no apology attached. This is the thing which I started following. The principle here is self led boundaries, sleep, medical appointments, fight recovery time are not weaknesses to be excused. They are how sustainable leadership actually looks in this season of life. So we need not apologize for anything. We can set the boundaries for whatever is needed. So these are the three principles I started following. Question over here is, can we start practicing this harmony or the principle without the support of anybody? It cannot be. So here comes the shared responsibility. So none of these stories happen because one woman simply tried harder. A calendar that listens need a manager willing to rethink it. A meeting where someone speaks up needs a culture that won't punish her for it. And the third, a boundary held without apology needs a partner, a family, a workplace willing to share the load. So here it is a shared responsibility. So that is the real shift I want to leave you with today. Work life harmony in midlife is not a personal productivity project, it is co created by the partners who share the mental load at home, by the managers who redesign what success looks like, and by the women themselves choosing to advocate rather than silently endure. When all the three moves together midlife, being a stage women merely survive and becomes a stage they lead through. So shared responsibility is very, very important. So here is my closing thought. The wall of silence we are here to crack down isn't only personal, it's institutional. It lives in the boardrooms as much as it lives in the bedrooms. To every woman in this room, the next time brain fog walks in with you into a meeting or a hot flash arrives mid sentence, I hope you will remember that colleague of mine I mentioned at the starting, and that, unlike here, you will have the language and hopefully the workplace to simply say what's true. My hope is that you leave today not just a better informed about your own hormonal health, but a little bolder, bold enough to ask your workplace, your family, and yourself for the harmony this stage of life truly deserves. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for the opportunity to talk on such a wonderful topic. Thank you.
What a brilliant way of explaining us, Dr. Shanti.
Thank you so
Your
much.
focus, your focus on brain health and mental well being reminds us that work life harmony during mind life isn't just luxury. It's an absolute essential for our cognitive and also for our emotional longevity. So, thank you so much, Dr. Shanti.
Thank you.
Let's
Thank you so
keep,
much.
let's keep moving forward. Let's go ahead and meet someone from Southern Australia, Dr. Asta. She is an MBBS Dranscock, passionate about advancing women's health, unaccredited obstetrics, and gynecology. She's also one who I would say just came out of the blue and said, I want to come forward today and talk about it. And I was really, really so thankful to her to accept our invitation and be here with us today. So, Dr. Asta, the stage is all yours. Dr. Asta, can you please unmute yourself?
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you, Shirinji. Thank you so much for a lovely introduction and amazing to hear Achalaji, Dr. Rakhi, Dr. Shanti to talk about all these um, topics that I don't think we normally come across or we don't see people talk about. So I'm really, really grateful to Wiki for putting us and providing us this platform, creating this safe space for all of us to talk about this women's health. And I think that's what I work here for. So my name is Dr. Asta. I'm one of the women's health specialists currently working in Canberra Hospital here in Australia. And I've been in this for the last 4 years, and I feel the thing that takes me around every day is the fact that it provides me a women empowerment. It helps me encourage women to make informed decisions. And as I said, here we're talking about their own health. We're not talking about anyone else. We're talking about women making their own decisions about their own health by creating awareness and education. So it was lovely and amazing to get so much information from Dr. Raki, and I think it was really, really useful to hear such dignified personalities and all the upcoming speakers as well. But today I'll talk a little bit more about perimenopause. I know Dr. Raki has covered a few things into it, but I'll focus more about perimenopause. Menopause is the word that we've heard, but perimenopause is basically the years that leads up to the transition to the menopause. And trust me, the transition might not be smooth, and it's definitely not smooth. It is a roller coaster. Perimenopause, when we talk about it, mostly people think about irregular periods, mood swings, hot flushes, but it is much more than that. It just simply could be a woman coming up to you and saying, I don't feel like myself. And it could reflect her low mood, her brain fog, irritability, anxiety, or it could just simply be the way that she's feeling her body was not ready for. Because all these symptoms, they are happening when they're still having periods, most of the women, they don't actually realize that this is the perimenopausal period. So what I would like to say to everyone out there, that these symptoms are real. They're not just in your mind, these are real, which is why women deserve to be heard, to be supported, and these issues need to be addressed. But also, perimenopause is not a disease. The reason because all these symptoms are so overlapping, as Dr. Raki rightly said, we do need to make sure we've ruled out all other things, which includes thyroid problems, prolactin issues, obviously making sure pregnancy is ruled out. But because these are happening when you're getting your periods, the challenging situation is how do we address it? And addressing doesn't just mean medicine. It doesn't just mean starting on some pills. It means that we need to individualize, take into consideration women, not only for her physical health, but also for her mental health, her work, her home, her quality of life. And we need to take that as a whole holistic approach. The holistic word here becomes really, really important. And holistic here doesn't necessarily mean that we are rejecting medicine or we are rejecting clinical evidence based care. It just simply means that we are respecting women as a whole. It does not mean that we are using any supplements or any businesses that marketed as harmless, or we're using any social media advice. It just means we incorporate a healthy lifestyle. Now, when we talk about lifestyle for women, I think it's more about giving them the empowerment and not shaming them. So just simply going out and saying to a woman, exercise, lose weight, and sleep better, it's going to solve your problem. This is not the true solution. It's much, much harder than that. Women in midlife, they are taking care of their kids, they're taking care of their aging parents, they are also looking after their relationships, they're working, their finance, they're looking after finances. There's a whole lot of things that they are looking into. So we need to create an environment that's actually empowering them and not shaming them. I feel like some women mostly put all their symptoms to the fact that they're burnt out, they're not coping well, they're stressed, or maybe they're not strong enough. But trust me, again and again, I feel like I say that too much, but I really, really want women to believe that their symptoms are just not in their brain. So, when we talk about lifestyle, there's four more important pillars that I would like to focus on today. So, the first one I'll start with again would be the movement. And now, movement doesn't mean exercising or losing weight or the numbers that you see on your weighing scales. It maintains, it means maintaining your muscle mass, protecting your bones, and again, coming back to aerobic training, weight strength training, resistance training. I think that's the best way that women can go around and incorporate a healthy movement into their lifestyle. Second, I'll talk about the nutrition. And again, there's no such thing called as a menopausal diet. So there's no fixed quick fix to the nutrition that you can do. But the aim remains the same. The aim at the end of the day is again to maintain your muscle mass, to protect your bones. Again, obviously looking into your gut, your heart, your mind, and your soul. So adequate protein, looking into your fiber intake, again making sure you're taking some multivitamins, calcium, vitamin D is the best thing you could do to make up your nutrition. A best example would be to come across that I've come across in living in Australia. I feel like is the Mediterranean diet. I feel like the Mediterranean diet is a very, very good combination of vegetables, fruits, olive oil, nuts, whole grains, legumes, lean protein. I feel that's the best approach that I've come across that helps women get all the important nutrition. Coming to the third pillar, we'll talk a little bit about the sleep as well. I feel sleep disturbance is one of the most common disruptive symptom that people come across in their perimenopausal period. The sleep could be disturbed because of night sweats, it could be because of insomnia, anxiety, hot flushes, could be anything. And what a sleep deprived women would face next day would be low mood, her resilience would be less, her pain sensitivity would be more, and she'll have brain fog. It's not easy to just say have a better sleep routine. We do need to advertise and really, really discuss about sleep hygiene. It is a true word. Sleep hygiene does matter. The sleep hygiene looks into obviously reducing your alcohol, limiting your caffeine intake, managing your screen time, especially before you go to sleep, making sure the thermostats of the rooms well settled to your needs. Again, it's very easy to say, yep, sleep hygiene is going to fix it. But in severe situations where obviously someone's waking up with few times at night because they're drenched in sweat, just sleep in itself is not going to be a fix, which is where your medicine comes in play, which is where bridging the medicine and the holistic approach becomes very, very crucial. The fourth pillar, and I really, really would like to focus on this as well and emphasize as much as I can, would be a stress management. And I think this is something that's very easy said than done. We can talk about yoga, meditation, counseling, breathing exercises. I think this has a lot and lot of uh, influence on how we manage our stress and how we cope with all our symptoms. One of the most important things I feel worth mentioning here is something that's called as CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. Now, this is something that has evidence to support that it helps women manage their symptoms better and improve their coping. CBT, it has lots and lots of tool, and I think it's just a topic in itself for like in-depth discussion at some other point. But just briefly putting it out there, it helps you making your sleep better. It helps you making your, reframe your cognition and your brain a bit better, stabilizing your mood, stabilizing your anxiety. Just some psycho education about um, how you can mitigate your stress a bit better. And I'm sure Dr. Shanti would also agree that I think it has a lot of combination between your biology and your psychology. They're deeply, deeply connected. So, yes, as your biology changes, we definitely need to look into the systems that help strengthen your psychology as well. Um, for no matter how much we talk about lifestyle is essential for health, but at the end of the day, medicine is also necessary for people that are having severe troublesome symptoms. And this is where the hormonal replacement therapy comes into place. And this is where bridging between lifestyle empowerment and the medicine becomes really, really important. Now, hormonal replacement is not a one size fits all treatment. It needs to be individualized, it needs to be catered, and it needs to be looked into for every different woman. So I just like to end my talk by saying that holistic care, again, as I said, does not mean that we are rejecting medicine. It just means that we are giving women, we are respecting women, we are giving her the strength, the safety, and an informed decision making by not only considering her physical health, but also taking into account her psychology, her lifestyle, her work, and her quality of life. We need to make sure we are creating safe spaces for women which are culturally sensitive, which seeks permission, uses simple terms, and do not shame them, and just is based on experiences that comes across from their culture, from their family, from their work, from their migration and social expectations. I don't think women should be given an option between a medicine and lifestyle. I think they deserve both. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Asta, for that beautifully balanced perspective, bridging clinical science with everyday lifestyle changes, providing us with a realistic, empowering roadmap to navigate perimenopause holistically. Thank you so much. And just before you go, I would like to have a smile on everyone's face and actually get the topic, what Dr. Asta said, biologically and psychologically. So I just had someone who actually said yesterday to me, a mother, that when a girl changes to become a mother, so a biological change, in fact, gets her to change psychology, and then from what she was to now what she has to be would be a bigger psychological change for her. So that was a great thing. So thank you so much, Dr. Asta.
Thank you
Let
so
me
much. Thank you.
thank you. Let me call upon Dr. Rakhi again and give her an opportunity to wrap up what she had to explain us. So, Dr. Rakhi, the stage is all yours again.
Can you hear me? Am I easily audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Yeah, just last few points. I really love the talk by Asta. What she said about holistic approach. I think that summed up my non-hormonal therapies that I wanted to talk about. So I would not rush into that. So that cuts off that. So now, as a doctor, I would advise that if you are suffering from severe symptoms, you have to get yourself checked. Get your Pap smears once in a year, or maybe even once in 2 years. Get your breast ultrasounds once in a year, and DEXA scan if it's necessary for the bone health. It's a DEXA scan which tells you how hollow your bones might be. And Pap smear I've already mentioned. So these are the three main tests that you need to get if you want to start up a hormonal therapy, a safe hormonal therapy by your gynecologist, if you are suffering from very severe symptoms. What I'll tell you is you can take estrogens, but which are similar to natural estrogen. They are called phytoestrogens. For some people who are scared of the hormonal therapy and its side effects, they can go in for natural estrogens that are phytoestrogens. They are easily available as supplements. Then for the bone health, you need supplements of calcium and vitamin D3.
You have to get it checked. If you're low on that, you start having those too. And there is something like glucosamine that is required if there you feel that you are overweight and your joints are losing the fluid every year. So glucosamine helps with that. People who have joint like mild degree of joint pains. So that's about bone health. DEXA scan helps in diagnosing it. About the heart health, again, estrogen helps, or non hormonal estrogen, like I said, phytoestrogen can help. Of course, smoking, weight gain, diabetes, BP, blood pressure, they all add to your comorbidities. So that needs to be really taken care of, especially at this time. Sexual health, lubricants, using lubricants, taking care or not getting infected with urinary tract infection because of dryness of the vaginal flora. So maintaining a healthy flora, you can take probiotics. That can they can be taken without, I think, prescription also, but in case in Australia you need a prescription for that. Probiotics are very essential sometimes when you have recurrent infections. So the last thing is, menopause is natural, it's not a disease. First thing is that, and second thing is HRT is can really help some selected women. So don't be hesitant in using HRT also. But obviously with the prescription of your doctor and with a consultation of your gynecologist. And it is not about staying young, it is about healthy aging. We don't need to age like this with our joints cracking and our skin becoming dull. We can still go on living like the way we used to, confident in ourselves, with some medication and with the holistic approach. I would rate it the first. And secondly, medicines, if you're not having any benefits with holistic approach alone, but still that has to go on with your medicines also, like she said. So the red flags, last thing I would just tell you about the red flags that you need to take care. Postmenopausal bleeding is a big red flag. You have to consult your gynecologist if you have had no periods for a year and then suddenly you have bleeding. It may be natural, it may be normal, a withdrawal, or it could be something else. So postmenopausal bleeding is a one red flag. Persistent pelvic pain, if you have lower abdominal pain, that is another red flag. If there is any breast lump, easily we can examine our breast while having a bath. We can look for any lumps. That is very easy to do. You can check on the internet how to examine your breast every day. So breast lump is a red flag. Then unexplained weight loss, or for that matter, I would say unexplained weight gain also. So these are the red flags you need to take care of. So my take home message is healthy lifestyle, timely care, healthy aging. Every woman deserves informed menopause care. Thank you so much. This was the only part left. I hope you enjoyed the talk. I tried to put in as simple words as possible.
Thank you, Dr. Rakhi, for striping away the mystery and sharing those vital medical realities. Understanding menopause from a clinical standpoint gives women the power to make informed choices rather than navigating the changes in fear. So, thank you so much, Dr. Rakhi.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Let's keep going forward and let's hear some more from our life transformation coach, Sonia Rajesh. Sonia Rajesh is the founder of Hands to Heart, a trained with training and consultancy, a life transformation coach. So, without any further delay, let me call upon Sonia ji on stage. Sonia ji, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Shirin, and the beautiful organizing council. I feel lots of pride and privilege to be in this platform. It was so nice hearing from Dr. Raki and Dr. Asta and Shanti. In fact, I don't have much to add in. Since I am coming from Wiki Emotional Wellbeing and Empathy Council, Tamil Nadu, I would like to speak a few words about what actually is happening. Now, when I was sitting here, my hands are sweating. Okay, I'm actually walking the talk of menopause. I had my surgical menopause in 2024, where my ovaries had to be removed as well as my uterus and the fallopian tube also used to had to be cut. Before that, I used to undergo a lot of mood swings, and there was lots of pain in during my perimenopause and early menopause times. Just I was sitting in the show watching everyone speaking. I was continuously sweating, and I was just thinking whether I should put the fan on or the AC on. If I put the fan on, the voice will be heard. So I slowly got up and went off and took my AC remote. And here I am, the full experiencing person with my hands sweating, sweat falling out from my face. So, since I want to, share my experiences, I would like to speak to every woman who is undergoing this transition. Yes, mood swings are a reality. It is just like you put the switch on and switch off. One time, 5 minutes earlier, you were the chirpy person singing or dancing to the tunes which you loved earlier. You are just switching off to another mode, that is tears running and getting irritated at even some may feel it's one of the most simple, silliest thing. But this is a time where we should get the support of our better halves, our children, whom we have been supporting for so long. And being into the emotional wellness zone, and also as a mother who has been undergoing all these sudden changes in my life, where I'm moving to a becoming a wiser Sonia, knowing things, where of course I as Dr. Raki told me, I'm just going to start my strength training from Monday onwards. Also started connecting with a medical team who are continuously monitoring me for my food. So I've started including all uh, eating mindfully, including proteins, drinking more water. The water bottle is with me, ensuring that I'm getting properly hydrated, and mindfully doing things like walking, doing exercises, and having my group of girlfriends. This is a time I understood that we women, men may go out in their office, they have their own things, whether they are running their business or anything, they always have their men friends, boyfriends. But as women, or even as children, girls, we were never taught to have a girly friendship, isn't it? This is a time when we should start connecting, reconnecting back with our old college friends, old school friends, and have a beautiful community where each woman can understand each other's pain, uplift her, hold her hand, and say, Queen, you are a queen, get up, and this is just normal, and you're aging gracefully. And to add on, there's some of the practices which I am now doing to ensure that I am staying not on the switch on switch off mode of the mood swings, is journaling, like gratitude journaling, and doing forgiveness meditations, and also mantra chanting, which could any easy mantras or whichever religion you are connecting with God or the real potential inside you. And of course, following my hobby, I am a person who loves to dance, and also a person who loves to paint. uh, Almost a week ago, I was literally feeling a lot of heat in my body and anger coming out. And the doctor told it could be because you're in the pre-diabetic or in the diabetic stage. But somewhere my body was telling me, no, this is because your estrogen and progesterone are really shifting like anything. And the doctor prescribed me a medicine. uh, Rather than having it medicine, what I did was I completely engaged myself in my classes, in my workshops, and lo and behold, I want to just share my experience that I am not even remembering that my legs are becoming hot. So this is one experience again I want to share with every woman. Engage, collaborate, stay happy, and yes, if you feel like crying, go to the bathroom, open the tap, and cry as much as you can. And also, if you want to feel like throwing of your anger, do practices like pillow throwing, pillow beating, and even writing mindless letters, where any many times we are unable to speak. People don't understand why you are behaving like this, why you are anxious like this. These are times which I would like to share, like, do write pages of what you want to express and express freely. And this is a beautiful transitionary period where you are rediscovering yourself. You are not falling, you are becoming a better and wiser woman. Ending that with a closing note, I would like to share that each woman, please understand that just like one moment the weather could be sunny, the next moment it could be raining, and next moment it could be cold. These are just simple weather changes. Ensure that you handle them hassle free, and together as a community, we are here to support you. And once again, thanks a ton, the organizing committee, for bringing me into this beautiful community and giving me a chance, an opportunity to speak. Namaskar.
Thank you, Sonia ji, for that profound reminder of the power of our mindset. Hormonal shifts are undeniably physical, but mastering our emotional well being and treating ourselves with grace always allows us to transform a challenging transition into a beautiful evolution. Thank you so much. And thank you for giving us one more thing I had never heard of, which was if you like to fight, go and fight with your pillow. So from next, we'll all try and see that if we can do that. It's a great initiative. Let us all follow that. Going ahead, let's go ahead and meet our last speaker, but not the least, Purnima.
Sorry, Shireen, to interrupt you here. I'm so sorry. But
Yeah.
I thought it was really important to let Sonia ji know that acknowledging your emotions and the fact that you become brave enough that you actually go to the bathroom, turn the tap on, and cry out. I think that's saying that women are getting much stronger and just not hiding in a room behind. I think it's just acknowledging your feelings, which was very, very true and very, very encouraging. Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you so much, Purnima, for the acknowledgement. Really means a lot. And I guess Sonia ji would relate to this that, we all women, we have to come out and break this silence, and that is what we are here for. So let's keep moving forward and hear a bit about Purnima. Purnima is a globally recognized hormonal health coach, international best-selling author, and keynote speaker based here in Melbourne, Australia. Having personally overcome the thyroid disease, ankylosing spondylitis, and postnatal depression, Purnima bridges the gap between silence, lived experience, helping women understand, reclaim, and thrive in their hormonal health. She is the founder of Body, Mind, Soul methodology, through which she has supported about 8,000 plus women across 30 plus countries. She is a recipient of Business Person of the Year 2023-2024 here in Melbourne and serves the global community of more than 231K plus the women. Purnima is passionate about breaking the silence around women's hormonal health and turning that silence into strength. So I don't want to wait a single second more, and I would really like to hear more about Purnima from her. Purnima, the stage is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. There's always an advantage and a disadvantage of being the last speaker. The advantage being you get time to settle in, you get time to, appreciate everything that has been said. But the disadvantage probably can be that, okay, that was my point that I wanted to speak mentally, but it has been covered. This was something that I thought I will share as my experience, and it has been covered. So that kind of leaves the last person, which is, of course, beautifully me to talk to think, all right, what do I even speak? So Shirin, I would love to start off by saying thank you for having me, and what an afternoon it has been. Dr. Raki opened this conversation with something that so many of us have needed to hear for a very long time: the medical reality of what actually perimenopause is and what menopause is. The timeline from perimenopause to menopause can sometimes vary anywhere from 4 to 10 years, and what is actually happening in our bodies, and why understanding it is not optional, it is essential. Now, if I go to Dr. Shanti, and I was noting down mentally and also over here of each of these speakers, because I would love to, again, being the last one, appreciate the nuances that has been shared and then connect my story. So Dr. Shanti then brought in the beautiful neuroscience and the link between our hormones and our memory, our thinking, our ability to show up fully. The connection between brain and body is something I see in the women I work with every single day. Now, Dr. Astha beautifully again spoke about how we cannot disintegrate lifestyle and medicine. And she reminded us that medicine and lifestyle are not two separate conversations, but they belong to one. What we do every morning, what we put in our bodies, how well we rest, everything counts. And finally, Sonia beautifully, oh my goodness, that hand sweats, that AC switching on, wondering between, if I switch on the fan, would it be a disturbance? If I switch on the AC, would I start to feel better? And every other thing that she said actually brought us to the inner world of what we experience. The mindset, the emotions, the identity questions that this phase of life is really asking us to sit with. Now, what I want to do in the next few minutes is actually bring it all together in my own language with the years of work that I have done on myself, and respecting the fact that we have such dignitaries as part of our speaking committee today. So keeping that in view, I would like to bring it all together and bring it into something personal. And we all spoke about beautiful ages, and with me being here sitting at 41 and living exactly probably what each of these speakers described, I will take you to the story of what happened 6 months ago. 6 months ago, I walked into a meeting room fully prepared, fully confident, just like how I am now. I knew exactly what I was about to say. And then the words just disappeared. Not stress, not nerves, the biology. That was the moment I stopped treating my hormonal health as something I would get to later and started treating it as the most important conversation I could be having with myself and with the community that I am part of today. And what I want every woman today who is watching us live, who is listening to the replay, know and hear and carry with them is, it is not in your head. You have heard it enough number of times, but let me reassure you, it is not in your head, it is in your biology. Now, in 6 years of working with over 8,000 women across 30 countries, I kept hearing the same story. Story that women who were thriving, professionals, leaders, mothers, daughters, doctors, surgeons who have worked with me so far, all of them, and even over here we have heard it n number of times, wherein we said, suddenly feeling like they were performing through the fog. And when I think about it, I think about those misty days, the clouds, the fog, where in case if you're planning to drive, your visibility is nearly zero. I'm sure people in probably North India more or less might resonate, and people in Melbourne should actually resonate as well, because that is something we experienced only a couple of weeks at the start of the winter. So your visibility is bare minimum. That is the fog, and that is what happens with you when you experience it. However, it shows as losing your sharpness, losing your joy, and slowly losing who you truly are. And being told that it's just a stress, and that can frustrate so much. And it's stress you just need to push through. And if probably they managed their time better or thought more positively, this too shall pass. I'm sure each of you listening to this would resonate. If there is a smile that is coming, which I can see, then probably you have heard it at least once in your life. But what Dr. Rakhi shared with us today, what Dr. Shanti's neuroscience confirms, and what Dr. Astha's holistic lens shows us is that it is not weakness. This is physiology, and it deserves to be met with the same care, same seriousness that any other health condition would receive. And when I say about this, I would love to break this up into the three different pillars that which I work with my community of 230K odd individuals who are there through different social platforms and the 8,000 plus women that I and my team have worked with. It's quite simple. There's no complexity in it. It goes off in the form of your body, your mind, your soul. We have spoken about this together, but bringing it all together and not focusing on just one of it is what I strongly believe has worked for me, has worked for n number of women who have worked with me, and I believe it is the way out for us to be able to experience who we truly are, especially in this phase of life. Now, if I can break up those pillars, the body. Most of us know about it, or at least have been enlightened about it through different talks of Dr. Rakhi, Dr. Shanti, Dr. Astha, about why that food is important. And if you are not aware, your body has actually been speaking to you for way long. As you might experience these symptoms now, it has been speaking to you in your 20s, in your 30s, but probably is now screaming at the top of its voice now through fatigue, through that brain fog, through changes in sleep and mood and energy that do not make sense on paper. What you eat, how you move, how you rest, these are absolutely not small things. Especially in perimenopause and menopause, the body stops asking gently and starts screaming, like I mentioned earlier. The question probably that we need to ask ourselves is, are we listening, or whether we keep overriding it because our schedule says we need to do? The next pillar that I talk about, and that which I have worked on myself and with others, is the mind. Now, this is the piece that Sonia beautifully touched upon. The gratitude journal she mentioned, the thoughts that she spoke about, the water tap that she mentioned. So many of women I work with are not just navigating hormonal changes. They are carrying decades of belief that their needs come last. Again, does this resonate? That asking for rest is considered as a weakness. That saying no goes as guilt because it is letting someone down. And those patterns run deep. They run deep to a stage where subconsciously we have been attuned by the society that this is how a woman is supposed to live. And we have seen our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunts and others in the society live in that way. And we have shaped that belief that this is the life that we need to live. However, through midlife, when the body says, finally, enough is enough, no more, we start to see those symptoms externally. Now, the third pillar that I spoke about, while I spoke about body, mind, and the soul, the priority actually is soul first, mind next, body last. And what does the soul actually entail? You know, we have probably seen a lot of spiritual leaders talk about, yes, meditation is important. Yes, grounding your energy is important. Yes, you need to have good stress management skills. But have we been told about what are those small things that could be done? Have we been told about how we were raised as a child could have a deeper impact on who we are today and the necessary symptoms associated with perimenopause and menopause? Have we been told about if that child probably wasn't well cared for, probably had an childhood where it was quite stressful in terms of what she has gone through, that will show up. And the book which beautifully talks about it is When the Body Says No. When the body says no, and when the body keeps the score. These are the two books that if you have not read, I would strongly recommend that you pick it up and you read, because it will clearly tell you that while, yes, every symptom that you are looking at has a medical reason and requires medical attention, as mentioned by all the amazing doctors over here, it is also important to understand what are those stressors, what are those triggers, where is it deep rooted, and how to work with it. As long as we keep fixing and treating these symptoms, we keep working on the surface layer. The moment we allow ourselves to dive deep in. And how do we do that, right? Today we have all spoken, but what is it? How can we do? That is where I think what I have learned. I carry an engineering background. I have done certifications with Hormonal Health and the Energetic Breakthrough Method practitioner, etc. But what I truly believe, and I currently also work with the Australian government in the risk and compliance role, and bringing my nuances from the roles that I have been part of externally in the organizations I have worked with, and what I have worked with n number of women in my own hormonal health coaching that I have done, I see a direct connection. That headache that you might get when you step back and think there is a reason why it started in the first place. For starters, it can just be dehydration. You have not had your enough water, like Sonia spoke about having that water bottle. That might be one of the reason, but it might also be a trigger that has happened elsewhere, which has led to that headache. Now, this is the awareness that we create. Go back to your root cause. Understand where the origin of the problem is. And when you do that truly, you get to connect to your soul. And there are n number of practices that which we provide, like the root cause meditation that I provide for women with struggling with the womb space, the womb activation energy, the womb activation practice that we provide. They are all beautiful when you connect with that feminine, masculine energy, because for once, from doing, you get to be just being. It's not about doing, it is about being. And if I can reframe what I have spoken, so perimenopause and the three pillars that I said, the body, the mind, the soul. Soul first, mind next, body then. Only when your soul is calm, your mind is clear, and that which passes as an energy to your body. And if you would love to learn more than happy to share what these practices are, how it has helped n number of women work within themselves, ease their symptoms, work with their doctors, and then bring themselves out of those medications that they have taken for years together. More than happy to share that after this call through Shirin Ji or anybody else. But if I have to reframe, if I have to connect it all together, perimenopause and menopause are not taking something from you. They are asking you to release what was never truly yours to carry. That overperformance, that self-abandonment, the endless giving without ever filling yourself up. What comes on the other side of the releasing is clarity, the real energy, a kind of groundedness that younger versions of us were still searching for. And midlife mindfulness is not about slowing down. It is not about accepting less. It is not about retreating from the life you have built. But it is about waking up. Waking up to what your body has been trying to tell you, waking up to the patterns that have been quietly running you, and waking up to the version of yourself that has been waiting patiently and quietly for you to stop performing and start becoming. The clarity comes back, the energy returns, the joy, real deep and is sustainable, is waiting for you on the other side of this. But only when you stop treating your biology as an inconvenience and start treating us as your greatest teacher, will all of this happen. As a closing line, I would want to remind you that your hormones are not your enemy. They are your compass. Start listening. Thank you so much for this beautiful opportunity. I hope you have some takeaway from this, and it was lovely to be part of the entire speaking committee.
Thank you, Purnima. I had goosebumps. I have no words now. I'm looking for words how to, conclude what you have said. So, Purnima, thank you so much for showing us how to practice true life, midlife mindfulness. You've reminded us that we shouldn't just strive to survive these hormonal shifts. We have the tools and the right to truly thrive to them. So, thank you, Purnima. Thank you so much. As we
Thank
draw
you.
to the conclusion of this incredibly enlightening forum, it is time to express our formal gratitude to everyone who has made this day possible. I would like to call back the Vice President of Wiki Southern Australia, Ritika Mata, to deliver the official vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Shireen. As we come to the close of this truly enriching session, it is my honor to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of Wiki Southern Australia. First and foremost, my heartfelt gratitude to all our incredible speakers. Each one of you brought such depth, clarity, and authenticity to today's theme. Your wisdom on women's hormonal health, clinical advocacy, and holistic well being has left us deeply inspired. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with such generosity and grace. A sincere thank you to our Wiki leadership for their constant guidance, vision, and commitment to empowering women across the world. Your support makes gatherings like this possible and meaningful. We also extend our appreciation to our partner organizations whose collaboration and encouragement strengthen our mission and amplify our impact. To our wonderful audience, thank you for giving us your time, your presence, and your energy. Your engagement is what makes these sessions truly come alive. We hope you are leaving today with renewed clarity and actionable insights to advocate for our health. And finally, a very special thank you to our host, Shireen, for leading today's event with such elegance, warmth, and intention. Your ability to hold space, guide the flow, and uplift every speaker is truly admirable. To everyone who contributed behind the scenes, your efforts are deeply appreciated. Thank you once again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at our upcoming sessions as we continue to break stigmas and champions women's health. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.